I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, April the 8th, brought to you in part by the Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Kansas RMC's focus is on arthritis and orthopedic issues for your joints, back, and neck. 60% of their patients are farmers, ranchers, and cattlemen. For more information, go to kansasrmc.com. Also, Joplin Regional Stockyards. We're running out of cattle, guys. They're going to have a lighter run. Not going to start till 7 o'clock in the morning, which is fairly late for them. Going to estimate around 5,000 head for the regular Monday feeder cattle auction in Joplin. Don't forget this month's cow special sale, which is usually always on Wednesday afternoons, is going to be on Friday this month, and it's going to be April the 19th, starting at 4:30 p.m. You can always check out all the Joplin Regional Stockyards regular sales and special cow sales at DVAuction.com. Bird flu smells fishy, and I think this has been going on here for a while now, and they just keep digging it up and rehashing it and going on, and had a lot of success knocking our market off of its pedestal there. But you know, the things that make it smell fishy, it showed up right on cue. We knew there was going to be some kind of a black swan come along and kill the cattle market, because we were getting too close to $2 a pound for fat cattle. You know, we didn't get up to it even really that close, but got in the high 180s, and every time we get there or set a new record high, something comes along and knocks it off its pedestal there. We can sell slaughtered bulls, some of them 10 years old, for $2 a pound, but we can't get $2 a pound for choice and prime fat cattle. But very frustrating for the industry. You know, this avian influenza come along. A lot of cattlemen that I talk to, and your good cattlemen that are hands-on, may not have a veterinarian degree, but they've doctored enough cattle that they feel like they kind of know quite a bit about what's going on. But a lot of those cattlemen that I know have told me that they feel like that this avian influenza has existed in cattle for a long time, for decades. The reason we haven't done anything about it, you know, we can't have medicated feed anymore. When we had medicated feed, a lot of those things just kind of got knocked out. If people were feeding some of that, you know, those things, it kind of cleaned up a lot of that kind of stuff. This is not a real bad illness in the cattle. The cattle get sick for maybe a week. You get them up, give them a shot, and they get over it. We really like those kind of diseases, or we don't hate them as bad as the ones that we can't cure. But, you know, it's not a big deal, especially in the beef cattle world. For cattle to get sick, we get them up, we treat them, and they get better, and then we go on. In the dairy industry, it's a little bit different. But so now the dairy industry has found this, and the fact that the cattle don't die, that's the biggest one to me. The cattle don't die. So, you know, it's not a major pandemic type of a thing for our cattle industry. The dairy industry hates it because they can't put that milk in the tank with the rest of their milk, so it's costing them money there. But the cattle get over it, and then they go right back on to production. But you know, the thing that we realized that really hit our cattle market is we found the first case of it in a human, and it was widely reported that human caught that bird flu from being in contact with an infected dairy cow. Hell of it is, now we're pretty sure that hired hand drank unpasteurized milk, and that's how he got it. A lot of us figured that was probably how he did it anyway. It wasn't just touching a cow that had it, or being close to one, or something like that. But you know, this whole deal is so crooked, and it's the board. If we didn't have futures, if we didn't have cattle futures, they wouldn't be able to take advantage of this so much. You know, things would come along. If they were affecting the industry, they would affect the industry. If we had a big media scare, it might scare customers off of our product. the media has been fairly friendly to us about this deal. It's the futures market that has killed our rally here, and it's the funds that's doing that. Now this is completely crooked, and this Magoo administration has said that they want to cut a lot of this unfair trade practices and things that these big packers are doing with their monopolies or oligopolies, and get things straightened out. Well, here's an opportunity. Check out and see which of those funds were bailing the board the biggest and what their connection is to our big four packers. I guarantee you there's a connection there, and they're probably not even hiding it that much because they don't think anybody's going to check. But I guarantee you there's something going on there, and our packers are wanting this market to break. You know, it broke a bunch here this past week. The futures broke on Monday, and they broke again big on Friday. And it's worse than Vegas. It's worse than Vegas. Imagine if in Vegas, or you can pretty much gamble anywhere nowadays, or on your phone. Imagine if the more people that bet on a team, it would actually give an unfair advantage to that team. So if everybody was betting on the Dallas Cowboys, suddenly the Dallas Cowboys got better. Or if somebody was betting against the Dallas Cowboys, the team that was against them would suddenly get better. It's like that. And as producers, you know, we're like a bunch of peasants shooting craps in a back alley, and a millionaire or a big wheel or a big fund shows up and suddenly wants to play. They're going to win every time, guys, every single time. And it's crooked. I don't know why. We're supposed to be a straight up industry. We let stuff like this happen and we don't do anything about it. There's no investigations. When they do investigate something crooked, they just slap them on the hand, don't do anything about it. But this is not right. And I realize it, you know, we're not getting a lot of sympathy because the cattle markets at all classes are near all-time highs. But still, we shouldn't just stand by and let stuff like this happen. You know, the producers of these cattle deserve this market, and now they're getting screwed out of it by something that's not straight up. Now, as we go into this week, we're fully expecting an announcement to come out that cows can indeed give it to each other, and probably if they've done enough testing, they will have found it in a beef bovine. We don't know that for sure yet, but I'm fully expecting it. And I tell you what, they should at least be doing some investigating on these funds, just tanking this thing. They're so excited. They know this market's top heavy, and they're so excited to ride it down that they can't seem to wait. But let's talk about your board for last week. April live cattle futures, Monday was down 492 there late in the session. Tuesday was up 170. Wednesday was down 85 cents. Thursday was up 55 cents. And then Friday, just kind of out of the blue, down 322, with April live cattle ending the week at 178 and a quarter. Our cash market in a negotiated style in your 5 area is about $9 higher than that. And yet we're in the month of April, and our live cattle futures are 178 and a quarter, and the board got beat down last week. So, you know, it's $10 lower than the last established weekly market, which was the previous week. But that 178 and a quarter was down 675. The fact that we've got avian flu in a damn dairy cow, and we lose 675 in our spot live cattle contract is bullshit. June live cattle 170.205, that was down 820. April feeder cattle, Monday was down 607, Tuesday was up 307, Wednesday was down 255. Every fundamental staying exactly the same, and that thing bouncing all over everywhere. Thursday was up 175, and Friday down $5 smooth. You think that's not an algorithm or a fund just setting a spot, picking a spot on the wall and hitting it to be down $5 smooth on your April feeder cattle? Ended the week at 237.70, down 995, nearly $10, or right at $10 lower on an 800 pound on the average contract steer when we're in the spot market. Isn't that something? How about May feeder cattle, 238.17, that was down 895, but extremely frustrating to the industry, guys. Your fat cattle trade, we did see more trade on Friday. Up through Thursday, we saw nearly 43,000 cattle sell. They were selling lower, of course. Your packers started out much lower. We had a few of the guys that held their feet to the fire and got them up somewhere within eye shot of what the market was the previous week, and then a lot of them went ahead and traded. We don't want to get backed up. Live sales of fat steers and heifers in your 5-area feeding region range from 185 to 188. That was $1 to $3 lower. Your weighted average on live steers in the 5-area was 187.05, roughly $1 lower than the weighted average from the previous week. Your market as a whole in the northern plains was $3 lower at 187. We did not see your southern plains market sell any live fat cattle up through Thursday. They sold them on Friday, and they were $2 lower at 184. Dress sales 295 to 298. That was $2 to $4 lower. Your weighted average on dress steers was 296.88, down 270 thereabouts from your previous week's weighted average. Market as a whole was roughly $3 lower at 297 in the northern plains dressed. Friday, Iowa sold 1,900, 17,800 for the week. 186.5 to 187 was the only market we saw, and it was all live in Iowa. That was within the range of the week, of the whole week there previous. Nebraska 1,200 head on Friday, 27,900 for the week. Live prices on Friday in Nebraska 185 to 186, and dress sales at 296. Kansas 11,800 for the week. They only sold 100 more than that prior to Friday. So they had 100 head sold from Monday through Thursday night, and then 11,800 on Friday. And the market was not good. It was 183 to mostly 184. That's $2 lower in the southern plains. Texas sold their whole 5,000 head that they sold on Friday, and it was 184. Box beef cutout values were down hard too. Choice cuts down 803 on your weighted average for all of last week's sales. The weighted average was 803 lower than the previous week's weighted average at 301.10, and your late Friday sales were about $4 lower than that. And choice cutouts are no longer over $3, guys. Just barely over $2.97 now. Select your weighted average on all of last week's sales, $297.69, down $336 compared to the previous week's weighted average, and your late Friday sales were $3 lower than that. Still a narrow choice select spread of just $341, all that based on 651 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Your slaughter last week turned out to be more impressive than what we thought. They had 20,000 on Saturday. That's unheard of. All of a sudden, they smell an uptick in your dress market. And I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see that this week. They are holding all the cards, guys, playing everybody else for a fool. But slaughter ended up being 609,000, and we were thinking they'd be doing good to get 600. At 609,000, that was 23,000 better than the previous week, and 4,000 better than the same week a year ago. But let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DVAuction ended the week at 247.48. That was actually up 255 compared to the end of the previous week. And he said, but feeders were lower. They were lower, but your middleweight turnout cattle were higher. a lot of those 7-weight cattle, or all the 7-weight steers, go into that index because that index is from 7 to 899 pounds, and those 7-weight cattle were enough higher to take that index higher, even though it's for feeder cattle. But your latest CME cash feeder cattle index was 248.97, higher than what your real-time index is. Cash feeders in your sale barns, there was really 3 markets. Your big feeders going right into the feedlot, steers weighing over 9, heifers weighing over 8, were $4 to $10 lower, just kind of like your futures were, and all the fallout because of the bird flu. Your new crop peewees, weighing under 500 pounds thereabouts, and they're soft and it's getting warmer every day, they were $5 to $10 lower. But your middleweight turnout cattle, your true stocker cattle, lighter weight yearlings and long time weaned calves were $4 to $8 higher. And we saw that just about everywhere. Your middleweight cattle were higher, and then the lighter ones and the heavier ones were lower. In Fort Scott, Kansas, Fort Scott Livestock Market, that 1,650 head market was mostly lower, but your 6 weights were sharply higher on both steers and heifers. Of course, they're just east of the Flint Hills grazing area there, and there's still guys scrambling to get their stocker cattle purchases finished up. Another impressive quote that I saw, and there was several from all around. I'm going to give you guys a bunch of them. How about Winter Livestock in Winter, South Dakota? They sell 96 heifers that weighed 619 at 281. And you think, well, those are probably replacements. I'm thinking more likely they were had a really good condition, had a thin condition, a turnout type condition on them. But I didn't get to talk to the guys. I did receive a call from them, but was not available to take it, and so I didn't get the specifics on that. But there's a hell of a price on heifers, no matter what. How about St. Ange Livestock in St. Ange, South Dakota? It's my buddy Justin Tupper. He sells 70 head of 715 pound steers at $293.50, and I guarantee you those didn't go in the feedlot. They would have turned those cattle out. Wahoo Livestock Sales in Wahoo, Nebraska, they can sell some big feeding steers going into the feedlot pretty respectably. How about 119 big steers weighed 959 at $235? That's in cattle feeding country there. It's also cattle feeding country, farmer feeding country in Dunlap, Iowa. Dunlap Livestock Auction and Shaven family there, they sell 2 loads of big steers, 110 head of 935 pound steers at $237.25. That's very impressive. But the most impressive quote that I heard anywhere late last week or over the weekend in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day come out of Magnus Livestock Market in Huron, South Dakota. It was 67 steers, weighed 817 at $270. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if those 8-weight steers weren't going to go out on grass also. That's your feeder flash for Monday.